GTI Clubsport and Clubsport S were launched, they were unrivaled in the hot hatch market. But time has moved on. Newer, faster, more capable cars have emerged, and that's just progress. That means it's time to evolve, or be left behind. Luckily, the GTI has unrivaled aftermarket support, a true bolt-on car. Nothing else comes close. Not on this side of the pond anyway. Evolving has never been so easy. So with over 3 years of ownership and over 30 days on track, it's time to unleash its full potential. All while maintaining the practicalities and comfort to make the GTI the class-leading car it remains today. To help me achieve this, I'm on my way to Northside Euros in the suburbs of Canberra, just under 3 hours drive from Sydney. Gaz and the guys from Northside have turned out some really quick street cars that do impressive times on track. So I know I'm in good hands. So follow along as we embark to turn this car into the ultimate street and track GTI.
Hey Andrew, how you doing, mate?
Good, how you doing?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad.
So you've got a pretty fancy looking car behind you. Looks vaguely familiar.
Yeah, we got this GTI 40 that belongs to a gentleman called Andrew Kendall, Track Hack on YouTube. Check him out.
Yeah. Please link and subscribe.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, all that business.
So what are we doing? We're putting in an RS3 drivetrain or what?
Yeah, that's it.
Yes.
Full RS3 conversion, all-wheel drive conversion. You know, probably a bit of NOS in there too.
Awesome.
So that'll make up for the talent.
I'll just go remortgage my house first.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Get the mortgage broker to give me a call. We can organise something for sure.
So what are we doing?
So right, so you've come down to us today. We're going to do a brake upgrade on your car. We've got this beautiful Alcon 6-pot kit here. It's going to be perfect for what you want. I mean, you know, lots of track days, super sprints, you know, time attack style stuff. These ain't going to let you down. These are going to be super consistent. They're going to work lap after lap after lap, and the pedal's going to feel the same.
After discussing my needs with the guys at Northside, I've chosen to go with an Alcon Car97 monoblock 6-pot caliper and Forza 3 65mm two-piece discs. This setup strikes a really good balance between cost and performance. The single-piece construction of the caliper will ensure zero flex and excellent heat dissipation when braking, and the multi-piston setup will ensure excellent pedal modulation, which is essential for track use. I did also consider some OEM options, such as the popular TTS and Porsche Macan brake upgrades. But after talking it through with Gaz, it was decided that those just wouldn't cut it on track. The idea here is to do it once and do it right.
We did TTRS brakes on our Golf R, and they worked really, really well. But when we were in a super sprint or a time attack situation where we were trying to get a real good lap, we did tend to find we overheated them a few times.
The factory calipers are really a weak point on these cars. Single piston and heavy, they are what you would find on an economy car, not a hot hatch. These rotors are also well past their use by date, with visible crazing. These are small cracks that appear on the disc surface. If they get too severe, they can crack right through the disc. Super dangerous.
These bolt directly onto the hub where the existing caliper would bolt to.
Yeah.
And then we have the Alcon brakes bolt clean to that. So essentially when it comes to a bad change, undo them 2 bolts, pull the caliper off the disc, you can just slide the pads in and out, easy as. They are held in by a spring to prevent rattle and obviously stop them from falling out. But yeah, it's easy as that. So what we'll do first, we'll start unhooking. I'll crack the brake line off. So before we lose too much fluid, what I tend to do, if you're doing this on the driveway, chances are you're going to get brake fluid all over your mum and dad's driveway. They're going to kick your ass.
Oh yeah, been there, done that.
It's not,
Lots of times.
not ideal. So what I usually do, I take the nipple cap off the bleed nipple on the caliper, and then I'll just pop it on the end of this hose. So as we're working on it, we're not dripping fluid everywhere.
Oh, that's a good idea.
These calipers can come off in a couple of different ways. Obviously, if you're just doing a pad change, you can then just unbolt it at the bottom slide pin, flip the caliper up, change your pads, bolt it back together. We're taking the whole thing off in one go, so it's two 21mm bolts that hold the carrier on. And once we undo this, we'll get the whole caliper off in one go. So now we've got them cracked off, we'll just whiz them out with the Ugga Dugga gun. One complete caliper.
Thanks Volkswagen for the economy brakes.
The people's brakes.
The people's brakes. That's it.
As you can see, there is a significant difference between the factory and aftermarket rotors. Not just the diameter, but also the attention given to the internal vanes, which are essential for directing heat out of the rotor. These will cope way better to track temperatures. Prepping the hub for the rotor is something I've covered before and is really important. The surface must be clean so the rotor can attach to the hub with no material in between. Even the smallest amount of rust or dirt, if left behind, can lead to run out, which prematurely ruins your rotor. And you really don't want to ruin these as they are pretty expensive.
Just get a rag and clean that up. One thing I would like to mention, that if you ever do any suspension work on basically this is the rule for any car really. If you ever have the lower ball joint off, the control arm out, the shock out, whatever, even though you will bolt it back as close to the witness marks as it came from, it'll always need a wheel alignment.
I find toe is horrendous on these cars. Mine goes out if it touches a hairline crack on the road. It's horrendous.
Yeah, well, a lot of that, the caster bushes in the rear of the front control arm here, obviously from a factory point of view, Volkswagen have made the bush nice and soft, basically to reduce road noise, vibration, all that sort of stuff, just to make the car a bit more pleasurable to drive. But the reality is, it moves around a lot. You'd be surprised. I mean, look, there's a lot of upgrades. I know you've put the stiffer bush in the back there, so that would certainly help with your wheel alignment issues.
But it's still semi-void. It's just not as void as
it was with the OEM one.
Yeah, it's still not solid.
You want it to be sharper. You don't want the wheel alignment issues. You put a fully solid bush in the back there, and that'll fix that problem. But you're going to lose, compliance on the road. It's going to.
My wife will hate me.
Well, that's exactly right. You got to keep the wife happy. Yeah. And I'm sure she's going to be pretty stoked about this brake kit, knowing that she's going to be able to consistently brake, through the multi-story car park, get the shopping.
Yeah.
I noticed you're taking the backing plate off.
Yeah.
Yeah, you probably saved a few hundred grams there too by throwing them in a bin. So every little helps, right?
That's it.
Now that the two-piece disc is installed, it's time to fit the caliper using the included adapter. This one is really nice quality. It's lightweight and made out of anodized aluminium, so it won't rust. The adapter is torqued up to spec, needing about 200 Newton meters, You really don't want this to come off.
Right, next stage. Let's get this caliper on. The orientation of the brake line is quite important. So where the hard line bolts into the flexi, this one has a particular spot that it'll locate into the lug on the car. As you can see, a little tab on there, and that'll lock in place. We need to make sure we get this on right.
The brake line comes with the kit, but ends up being a bit more of a battle than anticipated. Some slight massaging of the line is required to connect the braided hose to the hard line. Connecting it to the caliper was straightforward. With the caliper and lines now connected, all that is left to do is bleed the brakes. To do this, we use about 2 bottles of brake fluid. This is all very straightforward and concludes the day at Northside Euros. Big shout out to Gaz and the guys, certainly a professionally run shop. Can't wait to come back for the next stage.
Okay, so we've had the brakes installed for a couple of weeks now. I did actually already shoot a closing video while I was at Northside. You can see it up here, but like a total noob, I forgot to turn on the microphone, so it has no audio. A bit disappointing, but at least now I get to give a bit of an impression of the brakes after owning and driving on them, including doing a track day on them as well. So all in all, fantastic. It has made such a difference to the car having the big brake kit installed, more than I thought it would. And it's not all about the stopping power, because to be honest, as we should all know by now, it's not your brakes that actually allow you to stop quicker. That's your tyres, it's the contact patch with the road. But having a big brake kit allows you to do that over and over again consistently, which is what we're after here, and we talked about that earlier. But just daily driving the car, the brakes feel so much better. Going to the multi-piston setup, such a better feel under your foot. It's kind of hard to describe, but it just feels nicer. And here's the real kicker. My wife noticed, and my wife doesn't know even what kind of car I have. She goes to the wrong car in the parking lot, right? That's how little she notices and cares about cars. But she noticed the brakes felt different. Now that's really saying something. So yeah, super impressed. Massive thank you to Gaz and the guys at Northside Euros. I'm really happy with the brakes. Let's talk about how it did at the track. So we had round 1 for the New South Wales Super Sprints. Literally it was the weekend after we got the brakes installed, so a couple of days later. So there was a bit of bedding in still occurring while I was there, and once they sort of had bedded in properly, so we had some proper pad transfer onto the rotors, they were fantastic. They performed so well, gave me a lot of confidence, and I ended up smashing my PB on the track. So we did the north side circuit, where I think my previous best was 1:13.9. 1:12.8. Super respectable time. I was only a fraction slower than my mate in a stage 2 Golf R with suspension and whatnot, like a properly quick car. I was 0.05 seconds slower. He was a bit off his PB, but even still, on the day, kept up with a more highly modified car. Massively happy with that. It's about a second off the pace off a modified 2020 Supra. Again, super happy with that. And a lot of that has to do with the brakes, just having that extra confidence, being able to push a little bit deeper, brake that little bit later, and I guess having that trust that they're going to pull me up. So that's it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Stay tuned for the future ones. As always, have fun in your cars and keep it on the black stuff.